Hey, what's up, Dean? Saber Performance at the shop. No Corvette. Still waiting for the cover, but I got the motor. Yesterday I got the harness and stuff, all the little bits and pieces off of it. Today I brought the pressure washer out and just started hosing it down. And what I've noticed so far is this head is very much, so much more. It's way cleaner than this head. And sometimes it's kind of typical because this whole front section's blocked off by the alternator power steering bracket. So this side, driver's side, is usually a little bit cleaner, but this one is very, very clean. And with these being those like perforated style gaskets, that's not a factory gasket. They come with a multi-layer. This side is an 862, that side's 799, which is essentially the same head as far as I can remember. I can never remember all the numbers and stuff, 243 and 863 and all that stuff, which I think 863 is the square support. So what I'm thinking is, because this is a DOD motor, I'm thinking possibly somebody went in and replaced the lifters in this engine. Like it had a lifter failure and they replaced the lifters. It's just what I'm thinking. I don't know that for a fact. I probably never know that for a fact, but it just kind of, to me, it looks that way. The cylinder head bolts kind of have the socket mark. The valve cover bolts have like the socket marks. So it just, to me, it appears that somebody has opened this engine up and done something and possibly replaced this head, which is fine, which is good, because that means the engine was well taken care of. The plugs are Bosch plugs, which I think is like a factory plug. Maybe not AC Delco, maybe the factory plug, but regardless. So what I'm going to do, it's fairly clean right now. The dipstick is broke. It's not broken the block, it's just the tab is broken. It was all bent and pulled out of the block, so I'm going to end up throwing it away. I left it in there for now so that I could pressure wash everything real good. It's fairly clean, not as clean as I want it. Royal Purple sucks, in my opinion. Like, I used 3/4 of that gallon on this motor, like, over and over and over. I think I ended up spraying it 4 times and pressure washing it. It looks way better, but definitely not as clean as I want it to look. So I have a little bit of an idea. I just got to go and get a bag. But yeah, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to strip the manifolds off, the intake off, get the valley cover off because that's garbage. The manifolds are garbage. I'm not going to reuse those. Plus I have like 6 sets of those laying around. I'll get the balancer off, crank pulley, whatever you want to call it. I already got the flex plate off. That's over there. I'll probably start with pulling the heads and everything, tearing it off. And I do have one bolt right there, your typical exhaust bolt that breaks on an LS or whatever you want to call this motor, Vortec, I don't care. That's the only one. So hopefully if that's the only one that breaks, I got the welder over here. I could just tack a bolt onto it, get that one out, and we'll be good to go. The other good thing that I found is that this oil pressure sensor is actually going to be able to plug right into his stuff. So I think it's here. Is these ones? Yeah. So this is his gauge wiring. So this is the oil pressure sensor, that'll plug right in. This is his coolant sensor, that'll plug right in. Being that they're ran to this side, most likely what I'm going to do is trim these 3 wires back so that the coolant sensor is on this back, so it'll be here. I'll take this plug out and I'll put it in this head. I mean, I could just flop the heads. It really doesn't matter. But essentially this port will be plugged and this one will have the coolant sensor in it. It'll just help clean up the wiring a smidge, make it look a little neater. And then the oil pressure sensor, I won't even have to use the other one that I put an adapter for the Dakota. I believe I'll just be able to use this sensor right here. It should work good. So that'll be cool. That'll clean up the wiring a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work tearing this stuff apart. So quick update, I got the valve covers off, the rocker stands are off, valley covers off, and this engine is like immaculate. It is super clean. And here's the reason, another reason why I think this head was replaced. It's way too clean. This is the driver's side, which is typically the dirtier side. You can tell by the rocker stand being a little more brown. The rockers are a little more brown. This is the PCV side. It's just very clean. Unless this is an extremely low mileage motor. I mean, the intake valves, like even look at the ports. So this is like typical is all the way around. They must have been running this on ethanol or something, because to me this is extremely clean, which is awesome. The cam, what you can see, the front and back look really good. I'll be pulling the cam out though, but engine's clean. Don't mind the water spots. That's a little bit that dribbled in when I was pressure washing. But here's why you don't use these perforated gaskets. If you see, it's leaking through the gasket everywhere. And what that'll end up doing is messing with your O2, and it'll end up pouring fuel in it, which probably is the reason why the exhaust has got a little extra carbon in it. Not a big deal though. It's fine. We're not doing that no more. Same on this side. But again, these exhaust valves are actually cleaner. Huh. Yeah, this head, I would be willing to bet this head was replaced. Plus it had some RTV around the steam port O-rings. Just very clean. So I think whoever owned it, it probably went through a couple owners, but whoever owned it originally took very good care of it. Whoever owned it second may have taken care of it. Jim may have stored it in the back, and that's why I had so many leaves and stuff on it. But whoever owned it took care of it, which is a little upsetting that this isn't for me. But it is what it is. I'll be happy to put it in this truck car. So yeah, I'm gonna get to work, pop the heads off, get the crank pulley off, and I'll keep moving. So even better news, like the cylinder walls have all the cross hatching in them. There's absolutely no ridge. What's weird to me is the lifters. I don't think I've ever taken lifter buckets. Now I know these are the DOD, so like these two, those two are kind of pinned into the tray with the spring and all that crap. So they always come out with the trays. But I don't think I've ever had an LS where all the lifters are in the trays. I didn't spin this over, I haven't done anything. And I pulled the bucket out, 2 buckets on that side, threw them away, not even realizing, came back, pulled these 2 out, threw them away, grabbed needle nose like I always do, came back, and the block was empty. Every lifter just slid out like it wasn't even attached to the bucket. Coolant wasn't taken care of. That's quite obvious by all the rust stain and like all the gummy in the head. Definitely looks like it was leaking coolant maybe. It's so hard like to tell because the gaskets were weird. These are milling head bolts, so definitely the heads were off, the gaskets were changed. which is why I think the lifters were changed. Maybe even the cam was changed. It's not a DOD delete. But just the way everything is coming apart really, really easily, it's crazy. Like, or it's just an extremely low mileage motor. I mean, I even wiped the top of the piston. That's one swipe, and the pistons, you could see the color of the piston. Like, the cylinder walls are like super, super nice. So George, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he said call him George, like, is getting a phenomenal motor. Like, this is definitely, even the oil pan, look at the oil pan, like, there's like no staining in it. It's crazy to me. I pulled the oil pan off, I pulled the old pickup tube off, I put the new pickup tube on, with the O-ring, because I wanted to make sure I had the O-ring, which I do. Went on nice and tight, but I don't know, this is crazy to me. Like, it's spotless. Even the oil's pretty clean. Like, I dab my finger in it to get some oil for the O-ring, and it's like spotless. It's so crazy. Definitely, I mean, definitely the whole motor has been pulled apart, because you've got not the whole motor, but that's usually not factory installed. But it's not a big deal. You know, this stuff comes off. This is like caulk or something. But, you know, they probably had a rear main seal leak, thought it was the cover, spread it across, and we're like, yeah, you're good. But super, super, super happy. So I ordered the lifters, buckets, all of that, valve springs from Tick. Those are showing that they should ship today. Hopefully. The headers should be here, I think, Monday, which I'm not worried about those. I got to get head gaskets and head bolts. That was the only thing I didn't get from Tick, because the cheaper, like, GM gaskets were out of stock. So I didn't get those, or the head bolts. I don't remember. One or the other was out of stock, so I didn't get those. And then I also wanted to wait and see what I did have for gaskets and what I don't have. And I just have such an assortment of gaskets, and now I'm going to stay with assortment gaskets, because probably what I'll do is just get a full gasket kit with head bolts. That way I just have everything. And then I'll keep all the other stuff as extras. But I am super, super happy. The only thing left to do today is pull the crank pulley, timing cover, and the cam. There's not going to be anything fancy to see there. So, I mean, for this one, that's pretty much it. Face the door, idiot. That's pretty much it. Super happy. Like, actually very surprised. Really, really happy that this motor is like super, super clean. The last aluminum 5.3 I had was basically the same exact motor. I don't remember what year it was. It might have been like a 2008 or a 9. I don't remember. And it was nowhere near this clean. Like, I still have all the rocker arms and stuff over there, and they are oil stained. But that was the idiot painter. He blew that motor up with clogged injectors. Whenever you get a code on a newer car that says clogged injectors, don't call around and ask what you should do. Replace your injectors with good quality injectors, or have those ones cleaned and flowed and all that stuff. Don't just go out tearing ass in the car or truck or whatever because you run a cylinder lean and you explode it. Like, it's pretty stupid. So yeah, so for this one, appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Have a good day.